Today we're going black and white. Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Human with Superhuman Customs. Now, years ago I bought a 1966 Batman figure, and when McFarlane took over the line, they started putting out more of these figures, and they're basically exactly the same. So I have the Batman and the Batmobile, but I've never been able to find the Robin. I mean, I found him, but I didn't buy him when I saw him because I wasn't collecting them. And so I wanted one. Well, I found this guy for $5. At a Target. So I got him, and we're going to colorize this guy today. We're going to pretend that it's 1985 and that is the newest technology in existence, and we're going to colorize him. We're going to skin tone the whole thing, and this is going to be interesting because I've never skin toned before. I don't think this guy needs, I mean, obviously I don't use airbrushes or anything like that. This is all hand paint. So we're going to, water down some paints and do some coats and hopefully get this guy looking really cool so he can sit in my Batmobile with my 66 Batman. I'm excited. The cape, we're gonna figure this one out. I have that yellow paint that you guys know about that is very liquidy, that sometimes causes problems. I think with a coat of that, we're actually gonna paint this cloth cape. I don't know if it's gonna work. If it doesn't, we'll figure something out, but that will be our first moment of experimentation. Hopefully it works because that paint is so liquidy, so no time like the present. Let's jump right in. First thing I'm gonna do on our little Robin here is I'm gonna add the red. Just going to go over here and get some good coverage. I'm going to be nice and easy on them. I'm going to try and not hit as many of these details as possible, but I'm probably going to have to cover them with the yellow anyway. So let's just get this guy starting to look like Robin. I mean, most of this is just going to be this, covering what's already there. Now, when I'm getting up here by the cape, I am going to have to be careful because I'm not removing the cape. If I do, it'll literally just tear the cape. So I'm going to have to fold it over like so and get under some of these spots to make sure that I do not get it on the cape. Because since I'm going to use such a light yellow on the cape itself, I need to be very careful because this will go through on the cape, and then the yellow that I have planned is not going to work, the plan I've got. So I got to be very careful here to not screw this up. Don't screw up your figures, guys. When getting around spots like this on the symbol, remember, like I always say, let the paint lead. So you don't want to get the bristles up against the edge. You want to let the paint be thick and let it do the work for you. And if you do that, you'll see that it will push into place and you can get spots like this really nicely. But I am screwing it up, so don't listen to me all the time. Because as you can see, I'm not using the magnifying glass so that I can show you, and that was stupid. So always use your magnifying glass, even if you're doing a video, to show people how to do it. I'll have to retouch that up later. All right, just with the red, he's looking pretty awesome. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to hit his little like zipper buttons, whatever these things are. And in the original, they were a gold. So I'm going to do gold across all of this stuff. So I'm going to hit these little button stitches things, and I'm going to hit his belt as well. And just go through with the magnifying glass, make sure I'm getting as tight as possible, and get Robin looking more Robin-y. And then we'll jump in on the cape, which is making me very nervous. And now we get into more scary territory with the R. So I'm just going to use the magnifying glass, hopefully get as close to the interior as I can. And since I'm hand painting this, it's never going to be quite perfect, but as long as you can get it so that it's more or less covered without being too sloppy, then you're probably going to be safe. So let's all take a deep breath, say a little prayer, and hope that I can stay in here and get this R so that it doesn't look crappy. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now I could do the green or the face or the flesh tone, right? But what I am most stressed out about is the cape. I've never done anything like this before. So I'm taking this very thin yellow paint that I have, and I'm just going to go over the top of it and move it around. And I don't know how this is going to work or if it's going to work, but we're just going to do it and pray. Because this guy doesn't have enough room underneath his neck for me to really add a fabric cape, because this is a very thin fabric. Plus, I want him to sit in my Batmobile, so he needs to have a cloth cape. So I would rather potentially ruin this than ruin the entire figure. So I don't know. We'll see. That did not turn out to be a complete disaster. It still has its movement to it. It's all drying out. It's got it pretty covered. All right. Sometimes taking risks pays off. Now that the cape is solid, I'm just going to go through with some Vallejo dark green. That is literally what the name of the paint is. And we'll get all the green parts done. And then if we need to patch up a little bit of the red, we really don't have much patch up to do. Then we will move on to the flesh tone, which will be the next most scary thing, because we don't want him to look weird and we don't want, the paint to be thick. So we'll get through the easy stuff again and move on to the next challenge. What I've done is I've taken a little bit of flesh tone and mixed it with some water so that it will go on nice and light. I don't want it to be a really thick coat on the legs. You can see how it's starting to make a difference. Probably have to do this in a couple different layers, but if I go on nice and thin like this, then I can build it up a little bit and it won't clump, because that's definitely not what I want. I don't want to look at clumpy skin and look like, oh man, something's really weird with this guy. So this is how we do it. Water down your paint, get it on, and then once it's dry, put on another coat. Now the next stressful part is the face and first coat on here. Just using a smaller brush, same paint that I just kind of mix some water in, and we'll go in here and then hook it around the eyes and call him good. To get hair around the eyes, I'm not going to put much. I'm just going to use a toothpick and just get it around the edges. That's it. Because if I try too much and I get into the eyes, I'm not going to be able to fix it because of the mask. But if I just get a hint of it, then that will be sufficient. That's the great thing about dealing with a gray color like this for the skin, is that even if I were to leave these unpainted, it wouldn't really matter. It wouldn't look that bad. But just with a little bit in here, I can make it work. Now let's go on the second coat with this flesh tone. And we got to do a little bit of touch up on the black here around the circle. So I'm just using the magnifying glass for that. And then we're just about done, I think. There we go. Last thing we can't forget is that Robin has brown hair. So I'm just going to go over very lightly. And I put a little bit of water in it, so I want it to still see some of the black. Hopefully we can keep that. So I don't want it to be a full, I'm using too much paint. Oh well. He has brown hair. Black and white to color. I think it turned out pretty well. The cape, using that really thin yellow paint, the Citadel paint, it still flaps normally. It does exactly what it's supposed to. He is going to look really good in that Batmobile. That's why I got him. I wanted to get the original. Could never find him. When you can find this guy for $5 and you can just repaint him and sit him in your Batmobile, that is an excellent choice. Really glad I did it. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. I have a ton of fun doing these videos. I hope you guys enjoy watching and that we're all learning together and trying new things. I have some great stuff coming up to show you guys that I'm very excited about, so stick around. And if you guys are interested in books, because I am a novelist, sci-fi thrillers are my thing, check out StephenHuman.com and you can buy all of my novels. I've got my new novel, Dream Addicts, out. Check that out. You guys will dig it. I'm Stephen Human. This is Superhuman Customs. I'll see you next week.